Hi guys, Mike back again with another Death Guard army update. It's been a while. I hope you're all well. How are you all doing? It's been a few weeks since I put my last video up, and I've just been really busy with work, and yeah, just haven't had time to put the effort into making videos. So I'm hoping to rectify that with my newest series, which is the Q9 amongst you will be able to tell is Fellblade from Forge World. This is a super heavy tank and is a bit of a beast, if I'm honest. It's a big old tank. I bought it back in December last year, and I've been building quite a lot for my 30k Death Guard almost exclusively over the last few weeks and months. And that Death Guard, 30k Death Guard army is coming on very, very nicely, and I shall be doing an army showcase relatively soon. Just as a little aside, before we get into before we get into Fellblade, I'll just have a little look-see at the cabinets. So this is the Death Guard cabinet. So you can see I've been busy. Heavy support squads up there, and what else have we got? Heavy support and support squads. We've got troop choices, got some veteran tacticals and destroyers. Got some HQs down here: Death Shroud, Grave Wardens, Callous Typhon, Apothecaries, Cataphracti Terminate squads. Then we've got a couple of Leviathan Dreadnoughts, a couple of Contemptors, and an Anvilis drop pod. And then right on the bottom there, from left to right, back to front, Spartan, Proteus, Predator, Medusa, and Damocles Rhino command tank. So I'll be doing a showcase, showing you a bit more of that in detail at some point. But for today, and for this next series of videos, we are going to look at the Fellblade. There has already been a very, very comprehensive build log of the Forge World Fellblade on a channel over at Leaky Cheese at Leaky Cheese. He did a very, very nice video log, build, component review, and general how-to of Fellblade back last year. It's a very, very nice series of videos, and so I am going to do a similar thing. Actually, I'm going to put the link below for Leaky Cheese because he's a top chap, and so go and check his videos out too. And it'll be quite interesting to kind of do a bit of a compare and contrast from his experiences to my experiences. So this is it. This is what you get. It is a plastic and resin hybrid kit, which is always entertaining. Generally the fit's okay, but you know there are some little sort of finagly idiosyncrasies with these sorts of kits, and dry fitting is your key, is your best friend. In these sorts of builds, dry fit, and don't glue anything until you're sure, because stuff will either go together quite nicely or it's a real pig to put together, generally in my experience at least anyway. So initially you get 3 plastic sprues. These are from the Baneblade kit, and what I'm going to have a look at the what we will loosely term instructions, and I've mentioned these before. We call them instructions, more like guidelines, more like yeah, this is kind of how it goes together. Whether you want to follow the exact order that the instructions tell you to, I probably would say not to, and we'll talk about that in a little second. But anyway, so you get 3 sprues from the Baneblade, and what we are looking for, we've got a left side and a right side, so we need the inner hulls, the plastic inner hulls for the left and right side. And I think that's all we need, because we've already got our outer hull sections are replaced by resin sections. So that's all we need. So on this one we need the inner hull, and none of this because we got our own track stuff. So lots of bits to go in the bits box. And again, hull section, don't need the tracks, don't need the outer hull. And then on this one we need the base of the hull, which comes in 2 sections, and we need these wheels, I believe, these 4 lots. So, and I think that's it. I'm not sure if we need any of these plastic bits here, but we will have a look. So you get your plastic components, and then you get all your resin goodness. Like I say, a couple of outer hulls. Just make sure you've got a left and a right side, which we have. And Forge World have conveniently stamped these left and right, so we know we've got the right ones. And the other large piece is the what is this called? This is called the hull top, funnily enough. And our turret is going to go into this hole here. So it's a fair old chunk of rosin, this. So what I'm thinking is this is going to line up basically like this. We can't quite line it up because of these here. So it's going to line up like that. So it's going to look sweet. I'm really looking forward to building this. So there we go. And then we've got, well, I've been through all the parts and I've kind of put them into 5 bags of components, kind of light components. So we've got all of our tracks here. We don't use any of the plastic tracks, it's all the resin stuff. This bag solely contains the turret top and the double accelerator cannon, which is a beast of a weapon. Then we've got more kind of hull components, front hull, exhausts, what else is in there, and the back of the turret. And then we've just got kind of sundry pieces really, smokestacks, weapon bits. This comes with quad las cannon, two quad las cannons, or are they 2 twin link? What are they? They are las cannons, yeah, quad las cannons, I'm sure they're quad. And we get our smokestacks and all the bits there. And yeah, some barrels, doors, yeah, some track sections and idler wheels and things like that. So yes, so quite a lot of stuff to get going through. So now we come to our these are slowly becoming I'm sure these are becoming a collector's item as they review kits. They're being presented in a very nice, white box or a large red box, depending on the size of the model you buy. This one came in a huge Forge World bag, sort of letting you know that it's quite an old kit. And they haven't reviewed it yet, I suppose, in terms of packaging it in their new style of packaging. So it comes in a big bag. And it retails for £180 at the moment. This is where are we? May 2018. It retails for £180. So it's a lot of tank. It's a lot of money, but I think it's a lot of tank for your money. Moving on to the guidelines. Yeah, no, they don't actually call these instructions, and they're not really. So what you get, and again I've spoken about this before, but we'll just have a quick look for those uninitiated people. So what I've done is I've gone through all of the components and just highlighted off that they are all here. I like to lay them out as per the sheet, just so I know I've got everything, and I have. And checking the quality of the components, making sure that they are cast well, and that there are no major issues that you need to contact Forge World about. So that's great for the resin pieces. As for the plastic pieces, some of these photocopy instructions tell you what plastic pieces you need. These ones don't really. So our first stage here is assemble plastic components as shown, and it gives you this picture. And well, I'm this is not a good photocopy. This is really dark. It's a little bit lighter on camera actually, but when you're looking at it with your eyes rather than through a camera, it's really dark and it's really difficult to see. Maybe the more novice modeler or beginner modeler potentially might have difficulties because it doesn't tell you the lower hull and the 2 side inner hull pieces are all made up of 2 components which need to be glued together, and it doesn't tell you to do that. Again, I appreciate this kit is for maybe the more experienced or advanced modeler, but it doesn't tell you to do that. It just says do it as shown, so whatever that means. And then we kind of go through again. These pictures are really poor. It's really difficult to see, and I think which is why I'm saying dry fit is your friend. And once you've clipped all the components and washed all the components, etc., and you can start dry fitting things, you can see where pieces actually fit. Yeah, and I would really recommend not gluing anything until you're absolutely sure it is going where it's supposed to go, and that you don't need to glue anything on first before you glue something else on, because you get into a whole world of trouble trying to build these models when you committed and you've glued something in and actually you needed to get something else in first. And these instructions, I think, are not necessarily telling you the right way or the right order to do things. Case in point, so I'm guessing, you know, this is page 1 and page 2, so we glue all the plastic components together, which shouldn't be an issue. And then we're looking like we're going to put the hull front on and the front plate, and then from there the hull top and the engine, and then they want us to put on the bolter cover and the demolisher cannon and the gun plates. So they're telling you to do all of this, and these detail pieces I'd be more inclined to leave off. But then this is kind of my issue here. Attach track sections L1, L2, R1 and R2, which are all resin pieces, to the left and right hull sections. So these are our left and right hull sections according to the picture, and it's asking you to glue in L1 and L2, but it's really not clear. I mean, I think it's these top sections here, because clearly you can't glue anything to the underside because we haven't got anything to glue it to, because we need to build this up. But it's really, I mean, it's just really unclear, and I'm just sort of thinking from the completely uninitiated, I think this would be quite confusing. So it's asking you to do that, and then you're attaching your hull sections to the outer hull to the inner hull. So we've got track here, so that would suggest that it is the upper track sections glued on already. And then we're moving on to kind of the underside, where we've got these plastic components being glued on, and then putting the front wheels on and then gluing the rest of the tracks on. Just a word of warning, and just from experience really, these models with separate tracks are generally quite finicky and a bit awkward. And I would personally, and I won't be, I will not be gluing tracks on at this stage, because I want to make sure that when they come round the front that they all line up and they all fit. Otherwise we're going to have a horrible fit going around the back. Excuse me. Going to have a horrible fit going around the back potentially, and misaligned tracks and stuff. So that's just a word of warning. But actually it might be fine, which is why I'm saying dry fit is your friend. But again, yeah, so I mean, there we go. Just really dark pictures. Difficult to see what you're supposed to be doing. Not great, I wouldn't have said. And I don't think I'm going to particularly struggle putting this model together, but I'm just mindful of the, you know, if this was to be your first experience of Forge World, I don't know if it would particularly be a happy experience. It just looks really, I don't know, could potentially be confusing, but there we go, we'll see. So this is what this video is for, at least anyway, to show you pitfalls and advice along the way. So this is part 1 of the Forge World Fellblade build. Any questions, queries, comments, let me know. It's good to be back. I hope you're all well, like I said. And we'll catch you on part 2, when we will have probably glued the plastic bits together as shown. So we'll see if we can work out what we need to do, and we'll go from there. So that's it from me for now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.